Hey, Hugh. Is that Hugh?
Hello?
Is that you, Hugh?
Yeah, it is. Yes, thank you for getting me on.
Hugh?
Yes.
Yes, Hugh.
Nick, is that Nick?
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to praise the health service for... I've come out of hospital 2 weeks ago. I was in nursing for about 4.5, 5 weeks.
Yeah.
I had a mystery bacterial infection.
Ooh.
Started in the blood.
Right. We don't need to know the gruesome details.
No, but what they did...
Is this wait a minute, is this a gruesome detail? Wait a minute, is this a gruesome detail?
No.
Okay, carry on.
I'm the only gruesome thing here, that's me. They hunted around and they got supplies of this stuff from one of the other hospitals or wherever they keep it.
Right.
And it was responsive to 2 only, the original 36 penicillin from Fleming and...
I have no idea what you're talking about, but are you saying that you went into hospital and they cured your illness?
Yeah, they did. It was a mystery illness that caused...
Well, that's fantastic news, Hugh.
For 6 months.
That's what the NHS is for.
The NHS is what it's for.
Yeah.
They do experiment. They came to me and they said, look, we want to try something on you. Are you available as a guinea pig? I said, yeah, by all means, because I used to work for you.
Right. That doesn't necessarily guarantee a positive outcome.
No, of course not guarantee it. Right. But I'm 78 now. And
78 years old.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, no, thank you. Appreciate it, Hugh.
Thank you.
Went into hospital and they treated him like he was in hospital. Can you believe that? Actual doctors and nurses and everything. You know, when people talk about the NHS and they list its many failings, and I would start that list, but I only have a brief 3-hour show. Then there will always be somebody who calls and say, well, you know, I went to the hospital with a sore throat and they accidentally cut my leg off, but they were fantastic. Or they treated me perfectly in every way, shape and form, and therefore there's nothing wrong with the NHS. That's what they're for. They're literally there for that purpose. You shouldn't have to praise a restaurant for supplying you with food. Praise them if they supply you with great food all the time. Not like potluck. If you go on Thursdays, it's rubbish. Thanks, Hugh. Glad it worked out for you. A little bit too much information. Oh, by the way, the World Health Organization says that whole monkeypox thing, it's a worldwide emergency. The government said there's nothing to worry about. James texts, I worked in France and Belgium and received £200 a month of food vouchers from the government. Also in Belgium, every time inflation hits another 2%, everyone gets a pay rise. So if it's 6% in 1 year, it goes up 3 times at 2%, and then they negotiate the pay rise. Well, I followed some of that. But Belgium seems like a place to go. Or it would be if it wasn't so, boring. I went to Belgium once, and I don't know. Okay, so I went to Brussels, and it was like they were building it at that time. And it was a building site absolutely everywhere. It was horrible. Apart from this one, I think they call it the Golden Square, don't they? Amazing. Just absolutely beautiful. Other than that, it looked hideous. But I'm sure it's changed since then, because that was 1980s, probably. I'm sure it's come up a lot since then. Let's have a call in one moment. Manchester. Hello, David.
Hi, Nick.
David.
Well, when you were talking about Kwarteng a few minutes ago, don't forget he was co-author of Britannia Unchained.
Say it again?
He was co-author of Britannia Unchained.
Oh, I still don't understand that. He what now?
Don't you know the book, James? Britannia Unchained.
Britannia Unchained, right? Okay. So he's one of the people that wrote. Right. Yeah. The British people are lazy and feckless. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm just waiting. I've been waiting about 30 years for this trickle down. I can't see anything happening.
You're sitting there waiting with your upturned, expectant face, waiting for all that hot trickle down economics to wash all over you. But so far, not much. Yeah.
I just think, Nick, that. I find it incredible that Truss is even in the shop. Can you imagine her being Prime Minister?
Well,
I mean-
after
Yeah. Wait a minute.
I could imagine Larry the Cat being Prime Minister.
I just thought the least worst option was Sunak, personally, but
Yeah,
I
well,
can't believe she's in the last two, because
No.
she's just shocking.
and she is quite possibly, because we don't get a say in it, of course, she is quite possibly going to be elected to be our dear leader by the
Yeah, by who?
by the harumphing old geezers in the golf
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah, for the second time to get that, and it's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable, yeah.
160,000 Tory party members. Do you think they represent the whole country?
No, they don't. And furthermore, no, they represent themselves solely. All right, if only this weren't real life, David.
People prepare yourselves.
Yeah, all right,
Sorry.
that's right. Prepare yourselves.
you.
Grip onto something firm. Thanks a lot, David. 0345 6060 973. Why is this happening to me? Paul texts, Liz Truss could appoint Boris Johnson Minister for Thorn Inside and Backstabbing. Wow, that was really weak, Paul. Mike emails, the gas pipe to Europe has been reopened. It only had to be closed for maintenance, but that maintenance period was prolonged because the 11 turbines that were in Canada for a service were held in Canada by the USA. They've now been released. Also, the Nord 2 pipeline was built by the Russians to provide an alternative supply if and when Nord 1 was offline. But of course, the USA sanctioned even the works CAT to stop Nord 2 ever coming on tap. It was the USA that controls the supply of gas to Europe, not Vlad the Lad, says Mike. I'll sum that up for you, shall I? What are you talking about? Alison says, has anyone ever asked Bodger why he's always tucking his shirt in during PM questions? He's fiddling about.
Disgusting.
No one wants to see that, Bodge. Even Carrie's looking the other way. York. Hello, Jan.
Hello, Nick. How are you
Jan.
tonight?
I am great, mate.
Good. Now, Nick, what is the point of PMQs? Because I just think it's a complete waste of time.
I think they enjoy it. They're just enjoying themselves.
Well, it just seems so balmy to me.
It's pointless. As
Yeah.
far as pushing the nation forward and improving our lives, it's utterly pointless. But they just
You
enjoy all that folderol, all that dressing
Yeah.
up, and obeying the rules and saying "Mr. Speaker," and they love all that old
That's right.
that play stuff.
Yeah, but you look at them and you think they're supposed to be ruling this blooming country. Oh, my God. And, yeah, they shout at one another and then they call each other honourable. Well, that doesn't make sense, does it?
That's another one of those stupid rules they've got. I mean, it used to start with I think I've got this right, every single person who asked a question of the Prime Minister had to ask them what they're doing for the rest of the day. And he or she, sexist, would bounce up and say, I refer the honourable member to the answer I gave some moments ago. Because they'd start off by saying, today I'm, squeezing my fat body into a fast jet fighter pilot to get my photograph taken doing a thumbs up like Tom Cruise. And then everyone would ask them what they're doing today. And they'd have to bounce up and say, I refer the honourable gentleman to the answer I gave some moments ago. So they I think Tony Blair cut that out, didn't he?
Did he? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, well, good for him.
Yes.
But, and did you see Nadine Dorries the other day shouting at Starmer?
Yes.
You're boring.
You're boring.
Was she drunk?
I don't know.
She looked a bit drunk to me.
I've no idea. But it's just extraordinary for grown-ups to be acting that way.
Exactly. They're just like a bunch of school kids, aren't they?
Yes,
And
they
another-
are. Yes,
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah. And another thing, did you see when they read out the result of the final round of voting?
Yes.
Did you see it the other day?
Yeah.
Well, when they read the results out, they all start banging on the table.
Yes.
What's that all about?
It's schoolboy stuff. It's private schoolboy stuff. That's what they used to do in private school, and they like to continue doing that because they're all a bunch of children.
Well, it's terrible. Really is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's no
What
way
can
to.
we do?
It's not a way to run a country.
It isn't. That's why we're in a mess. Oh,
Well, it's
dear.
definitely one of the reasons. Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
Have you ever seen anything like it in your life, Jan?
I don't think I have.
No,
Have you?
I don't think I have. No.
No.
Shocking.
It's awful. Terrible.
They all need a damn good thrashing.
Yes, that is a good idea.
Yeah, but they probably like it.
Oh, maybe so, yeah.
All right, thanks a lot, Jan. 0345 6060 973. Oh, here is the last text from last night. And then I've only got, 16 pages of text that I haven't read from tonight. The last one from last night. And it's only taken me, an hour and 3/4 to get here. How do these people get my number? Paul texts, the EU threatened to crack down on tax avoiding and money laundering, and that was the starting gun for Brexit. Correct, Amundo. Oh, so he says it was their fault. So it was their fault. I suppose you could put it like that, yeah. The EU threatened to crack down on tax avoiding and money laundering, and that was it. That sealed our fate. We were getting out of there. And then they had to dream up some way to make us believe that it was in our interests. The millionaires and the billionaires thought, oh, no, you don't. You ain't looking into my tax affairs. And so they then had to persuade the little people that it was in our interests to leave. And so they brought up sovereignty and taking back control, and we're going to secure the borders, and, we're going to go out and it'll be global Britain and all of that stuff. That's where it all came from. That's where it all started from. That's why we're here. That's why, if you queued for 6 hours to get through Dover, that's why you were there. So millionaires could shroud their financial affairs in secrecy, because those evil Europeans wanted to shine a light in there. What a way to run a country, eh?
Dreadful.
0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's at LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. LBC with Nick Abbott.
What's he got to be depressed about?
Oh, blimey, where do I even begin? 0345 6060 973. Ken says, if Surgical Trust becomes PM, can you please advise listeners which country you will be emigrating to and whether or not you'll be able to continue broadcasting this programme? Ken, if the Lizbot becomes PM, I'll probably be in jail. And no, I won't be able to continue broadcasting this super show. Darryl says, talking to ministers with material, when Liz Truss was boasting about her hard work drumming up new trade deals, she said, I've spent more time in an aircraft cabin than John Burkow spends looking in the mirror. Funny, no?
No.
It's the way she tells them. How do you think it's going, Liz?
We have never had it so good.
Glad to hear it. Oxford. Hello, Tom.
Hello, Nick.
Tom.
I've got a list for you, Nick, and you can hang up when you get bored.
Okay. Nice talking to you, Tom. Let's talk to... I'm kidding. Go ahead.
All right, Nick. The first one is, you sound very posh, and I was wondering if you went to Eton with the Conservative Party leaders.
No. Posh? I sound posh to you?
Yes, Tom, you do. You don't sound like me, do you?
Well, no, I don't sound like you, but we're probably not from the same town. But go on.
Okay. The second point is, I've got a benefit of Brexit.
Oh, a benefit of Brexit. Can't wait to hear this.
It has cost us 3 prime ministers, which are 3 awful prime ministers, right. I think. What do you think?
It's cost us 3 defective prime ministers. Well, that's a good point. Yeah.
And the next point is, yesterday I listened to your show on replay, and you said everyone was happy that we've got a deal to start taking out the grains from Ukraine.
Oh,
and you said, well, Putin is going to start firing at them.
Yes.
What's happening today?
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised it happened quite so quickly. But if you believe that rootin' tootin' shootin' Putin is going to do something nice to help anybody at all, then I got a bridge over the Thames I'd like to sell you.
Okay. Next one is, we're going to lose Bojo very soon.
I'm not so sure about that, but go on.
And I hope you're going to continue playing his tracks when he's gone, and you're not going to focus more on the Fantastic Trust.
Well, we'll see what happens. Don't hold me to it, but we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Okay, and the final one is...
And finally...
Yeah, you might want to know how Sunak has been coming up with these fantastic ideas of how he's going to make the economy to become amazing.
Go on.
If you signed up for Get Ready for Rishi, you would have found out that he sent out a survey where everyone filled out and they told him what they think he needs doing. And the Conservative Party members probably told him that the NHS needs looking at, and he needs to sort out Rwanda.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. Okay,
yeah.
Excellent work. Thanks a lot, Tom. Yeah, I said this last night. I mean, everybody was like really, really pleased. Oh, finally, we're going to have a breakthrough, and Putin's not so bad. He doesn't want to see millions and millions of people starve to death, so he's going to be a nice person, and he's going to let the grain out. So that was believable, wasn't it? Of course not. Russian missiles hit grain facility in Ukraine's port of Odessa just hours after the countries signed a landmark deal to protect food supplies. Surprising, no?
No.
Of course not. It's classic torture technique. You could see it coming a mile away. You punish and punish and punish someone, and then you give them the idea that the punishment's going to stop. And then you punish them some more. It gives them the hope that they're finally through it, and then it gets bad again. And so then you lose all hope. You lose your morale. It just makes you slump because you've lifted yourself up. Oh, finally, we're going to get through this. And then it just brings you right back down again. Classic torture technique. Of course he's not going to let any grain out. Are you kidding? 0345 6060 973. He's going to use our decency against us as a weapon. Of course he will. You don't want to lose this. It's interesting how people have, they're not really that bothered anymore. I was on the air when this happened. From the night it happened, I was on the air for it was something like 17 shows in a row. I was the voice of the Ukraine war. I don't think anybody spoke about it more than I did. And we were talked about nothing less for about a month. And it occurred to me towards the end of that month that people are going to get bored of this. They just want new news. And so it was, almost straight away, almost as soon as I had that thought. It just sort of dropped down the running order for the TV news and all of that. And, I mean, where even is it now? I had to search for that. Putin's bombed the grains, because I would have thought that would be right at the top of the news. But no, you have to really look for it. Because when they signed the deal, that made a splash, just because it was a bit of good news. But the bad news came back, and it's like, oh yeah, well, yeah, who cares? Ukraine, where even is that? 0345 6060 973. Let's have Fife. Peter.
Hello, Nick. How are you doing?
Good, thanks.
Grant, can we talk about Rishi Sunak and how he's basically unfit to be Chancellor, let alone Prime Minister?
Okay.
He left university in 2006. At about 26, I think it's roughly his age. He was a multi-millionaire in his mid-20s. So that's 2006. Do you remember 2007? Do you remember ABN AMRO? Do you remember Fred the Shred?
He bet on ABN AMRO, which is the thing that precipitated the worldwide financial crash. He made him and his hedge funders made £100 million out of the disaster that ruined lives all over the world.
Exactly. I've only phoned you once before. It was the A to Z and it was weirdly I was talking about GameStop. I've got a bee in my bonnet about hedge funds, specifically hedge funds who go after businesses or are supposedly, in inverted commas, activist investors who know better than the company that they're telling what to do.
Yeah, vampire hedge funds. Yeah,
exactly that. And he was the bloody chancellor.
Yeah,
he was involved in this.
It's like leaving Dracula in charge of the blood bank. What could possibly go wrong?
And what terrifies me is what meetings has he been having in America with healthcare providers, Silicon Valley? I mean, what are they up to?
Well, they're about to give all of our most precious personal information to one of these data aggregators.
Oh, is that it? Right, okay. Well, you're way ahead of me. You're miles ahead of me. And that'll be it. Okay, right. Well, I'm satisfied and terrified. And,
right. You can kiss whatever pleasure you had left in life goodbye, Peter.
Agreed, yes. Yeah. I know. It's a waste. Cheers, man.
Okay, no problem. Anytime. Another satisfied customer. 0345 6060 973. Of course, one of the things that Fishy has pledged to push ahead with is the privatisation of Channel 4. Yeah, here comes the new boss, same as the old boss.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
I'll talk about that in a minute. And everything they're saying, it has absolutely no relevance to us, all of us poor dopes who pay taxes, who have to suffer under this lot. It's got nothing to do with us. We don't even get a say. There is a coup, and it's not just in this country. It seems to be a worldwide coup that has taken place. Now, they weren't successful first time round.
I can be more presidential than anybody.
But they haven't gone away. They have been rather irritated that they weren't successful first time.
I'm president. Can you believe it?
But they have the weaponry to achieve success eventually. It's like the shark from Jaws. It's not gone away. They've just gone out to sea to regroup, and they'll be back. And there is no bigger boat. This is it. And it seems to be happening in America, and it seems to be happening in this country. Now, under ordinary circumstances, you would think that I was one of those dribbling conspiracy theory nuts. But this isn't an ordinary circumstance. And it seems to me to be quite patently, obviously true. A few people with an unimaginably large amount of money and no morals at all seem to be wanting to stage a coup and take over at least America and this country for, well, I don't know. You tell me.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
Okie dokie.
Yes, hello. I've been waiting for you. Hello.
Yes, I've mostly been waiting for Phil in Broadstairs. Mostly.
There.
Yes, Phil.
Thanks, Nick, for taking my call. Yeah, I was just ringing up to say Richard Curtis did 4 weddings and a funeral.
Oh,
I think you mean Adam Curtis.
Adam Curtis, yes, not Richard Curtis.
Yes, I mean, I think it might be somebody's funeral if they've gone to see the wrong film.
Big mistake, but, huge.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not intended for that. But it's just that I think it opens a certain question, which is that Curtis's films, which I have a kind of lukewarm feeling about. I rather like the Guardian Mickey take, which was The Loving Trap, which is worth looking up on the
Which
internet.
Curtis are you talking about?
Adam Curtis.
Right.
The Guardian did a marvellous satire on Adam Curtis's filmmaking style, which is very, it's a lot of cuts of little bits of documentary with his commentary. And they did a marvellous take on it called The Loving Trap, which basically just satirizes him very well. But what I wanted to say was I think his Power of Nightmares, the Centre of the Self, is a very powerful film, because that really is what has happened to us in this country, because we've got a lot of individuals. It's people like Rees-Mogg's dad who came up with the idea of the sovereign individual. We don't pay tax. We don't belong anywhere.
Yeah,
we can
well,
go
he didn't come up with it. All these people, they love Ayn Rand. I mean, it's just so alarming what they believe in.
Yeah. But I think Adam Curtis did hit the nail on the head when he connected the Bernays, the big man in charge of public relations in America, who was a nephew of Sigmund Freud. He did make that connection, which I think is important, because that is the neoliberal self, of course, in the end, which is where it all comes down to individuals. You don't need unions. You don't need collective bargaining. It's all about basically what the Tories want to do with this new little bill, which they've just smuggled in last week. Let them strike break, Nick.
What it's all about is I'm rich and I'm all right, and it's I grew up in this society and I took advantage of everything that tax provides. The education, streetlights, a well-ordered society which is, policed most of the time. The NHS, did I mention the NHS? All of these things that we rely on. And even if you don't personally rely on them because you're wealthy, then you have had that wealth created by people that rely on them. So you would not have got where you are if your workers had not been able to rely on the education that was provided by the state and the NHS and the streetlights and the roads and the police and all of the rest of that stuff. But when you get to a certain amount of money, it appears that you don't want to contribute anymore. You've got in to the castle and you want to pull the drawbridge up so that nobody else can join you. That seems to be the way that these people think. And the more money they have, the more they think it. All of these people that follow this Ayn Rand, this I'm all right, Jack, everyone is an individual. There is no such thing as society, all of that sort of stuff. They're all rich. They've all made it. No poor person thinks that. And the reason is, it's not... It's all about tax. This is about Brexit, and it's about this, like I was talking about before the news, this sort of slow-moving coup that appears to be taking place in America. They haven't finished with Trump. Trump might be the puppet that they use to facilitate the next step. They're kind of annoyed, I would imagine, that it didn't work first time round, but they're not going to make that mistake again, which is why they're filling, local courthouses and with pliant judges and so on. They're moving slowly. It's a long-term project. And the reason is it's not even the percentage of tax, it's how much that percentage is levied on. Because say everything was 10%. I mean, you'd have to be really an unreasonable person to object to paying 10% tax if you're already rich. But they will. Because if you earn 30 grand a year and you pay a flat rate of 10%, that's £3,000. If you earn £100 million a year, you're going to have to write a cheque for £10 million. Nobody wants to do that. So it's not the percentage of tax, it's the amount that it's levied on. And the more that you earn, the more vociferously you will feel about not wanting to pay any. I think that's what it's all about. And I I wondered before the news, what is the final outcome here? And I think it's just that. Don't look for any higher purpose. They don't want to take over the world for some bizarre like plan. It's just about they want to just pay less tax. That's it. Finished. What a way to run a planet, eh?
Dreadful.
All right, thanks, Phil. 0345 6060 973. Andrew emails, with Liz Truss due to be Prime Minister, Trump set to make a return and the ecological collapse of the planet continuing unabated. I'm not entirely satisfied with the year so far. How about you?
No.
No, not really, no. You know, there's this thing about the oil and gas companies in the news yesterday, the day before. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You must have noticed the pushback on eco issues. You know, and the war in Ukraine means that we can't go for net zero anymore. And all these people coming up on the news who previously have expressed zero interest in the plight of the little people, now they're all about, we can't have the general public paying more in for their fuel with these green levies. Oh, no, that's right out. I'm very, very concerned about the little people, not leprechauns. Them having never expressed the remotest concern for anybody that is less well off than themselves. Just look at their voting record. All of those jabbering faces that come on TV and try to kid on now that they're just interested in helping people out with their bills. Please. The oil and gas industry has delivered, this is an amount that you will be stunned by if you haven't read this yet. A pure profit per day. Guess how much? That's right. £2.3 billion.
What?
A day. The oil and gas industry has delivered £2.3 billion a day in pure profit every day for the last 50 years. This total, captured by petrostates and fossil fuel companies since 1970, is $52 trillion. What? That's 52 with 9 zeros after it. And I'll put that into context. I'll do the seconds thing, because it's very difficult to put in your mind about what it is that we're talking about when you go into millions and billions and trillions. So this is an easy way to think about it. 1 million seconds is 12 days. 1 billion seconds is 31 years. And 1 trillion seconds is 31,688 years. That's how much money they made. $52 trillion in the last 50 years. And of course it's given the fossil fuel industry the power to buy anyone they want. Every politician, every system, the whole world over. I mean, who has got more money than they do? No one. Not even the people that make exciting ways to kill people have got that much money. That's why you probably hear so much about delaying action on climate change from shadowy groups of interested politicians and journalists. I mean, it doesn't take much to buy them off. I'm not saying they're all in the pocket, but once they hear other people say these things, then they think, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then they go off and they start repeating it. I mean, it actually doesn't take much to buy a politician, and particularly in this country, an embarrassingly small amount, actually. And the money is there to buy everyone on earth. To delay turning off the taps for oil and gas for the simple reason that it would cost a few people an unimaginably large amount of money in the short term. I mean, just imagine you're sitting on top of an industry that makes £2.3 billion a day in pure profit. How much would you spend to keep that money coming in? Remembering that for the super rich, no amount of money is remotely enough. You'd spend hundreds of millions a day to keep billions flowing in, wouldn't you? And that's what they're doing. They're doing it for more cash than they could spend in 10 lifetimes, and the victims are the other 7.7 billion people that live on this planet that's changing under our feet and over our heads. But this wall of propaganda from all directions, paid for by these people, is so loud. And enough people are persuaded that everything is fine. It's just weather. The protesters are crusties. They should all be locked up. All of that stuff. And the thing is, they're making that amount of money in a way that would get you put in jail if it was any other industry, by operating cartels that agree on price. That's illegal if you did it in any other business. But it's so legal in fossil fuels that they actually call themselves a cartel. It's like the mafia calling their their restaurant the organised crime money laundering pizzeria.
Absolutely.
I mean, the huge profits are also inflated by cartels artificially restricting supply. I mean, Uncle Joe Biden had to go to Saudi Arabia and beg them to turn on the taps. I mean, this is analysis based on World Bank data. They assess they call it the rent, secured by global oil and gas sales, which is the economic term for the unearned profit produced after the total cost of production has been deducted. So this is essentially free money. And we are daft enough to pay them to decommission oil wells that they planted in the North Sea so that they could make this money. I mean, I'm not making that up. You have paid the oil companies to decommission their oil wells. And it's not a small amount either. In 2019, the Oil and Gas Authority told the National Audit Office that the total cost of decommissioning North Sea oil and gas infrastructure could be £77 billion. HMRC's current estimate of the cost to the public through tax relief is £24 billion, including £12.9 billion in repayments of taxes previously collected. So we collected the tax and we're giving it back to them because apparently making £2.3 billion a day isn't enough, which sounds like socialism to me. But the only socialism that is allowed is for the rich. We all have a whip round and we give it to the rich. It's trickle-up economics. And emissions from this burning of fossil fuels have driven the climate crisis and contributed to extreme weather events, including the current heat waves, and oil companies have known this for decades. They've known for decades that carbon emissions were dangerously heating the planet. They've known, and they've spent a huge amount trying to keep it a secret and to turn us against people who are warning about it. There was this executive from one of the big oil companies in the States. Look it up on the internet. He actually admitted it out loud. He didn't know who he was talking to. It were journalists, I think, who were pretending to be... I can't remember what they were pretending to be. But he went through it. He said, oh, yeah, we do this and we do that. And we, he basically just admitted their entire plan. It's like the cigarette companies all over again. And next, you know what? It's going. I bet it's going to next. The next one is going to be the plastics companies selling us things that they knew were poisonous, but keeping it on the down low. I mean, there's particles of broken down plastics that have been found on every animal on land and in the sea and in the air. It's in the milk, the meat and the blood of farm animals, and in humans, too. It was found in almost all the samples of human tissue that were recently analysed looking for plastics. We're literally eating and breathing plastic. How that story came and went without with that and without anybody paying any attention, I don't know. But you know what? Eventually there will be publicity. And then will come the great pushback. Coming to a location near you, plastic is good for you. And it's all about the money, honey. It's all about that. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
LBC. Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Do not panic! Do not panic! We are trained professionals!
I'd start panicking right now if I were you. 0345 6060 973. Here is a call in Wolverhampton. Hello, Jake.
How we doing?
Good, thanks.
I'll tell you what you just said then, the preaching, I have to salute you, sir, because basically you just got me and the missus, we're sitting in the car, we always love listening to you, and it was just like, wow. But I just wanted to ask a question. I know it's going to be... She goes, you can't ask him this question, Jay. He's a serious guy. He talks and he talk sense. You can't ask him. I say, I'm going to ask him. Don't ask him.
Jake, I insist that you ask me.
Thank you, sir. Basically, you know all these sound effects you do? Do you have a button that you press? Because they are unbelievably brilliant. Absolutely. I wish I had them on the repair shop.
It's not a button.
Perfect.
It's a screen of possibilities. A touch screen of possibilities.
Wow. So many months, years. I've always went on. So thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you. No, seriously. the serious callers can get on there now and have a proper debate with you. So, no, thank you for having me.
All right. Appreciate it, Jake. 0345 6060 973. Carl tweets, I'm watching Marmion Schoenberg on YouTube, but cannot find that bit. Are you lying to us? What, this bit? Yeah, and I looked that up afterwards as well, because somebody called in and asked me what that was. And I thought it was Marmion Schoenberg. And I sat through a couple of mixes of that track, and I didn't come across that. It was kind of close, but not really. And as I'm sitting here thinking about it, it was somebody called Dave Clark or something like that. But I can't quite bring to mind who it was. So I don't think it was Marmion Schoenberg, although that is an epic track. But it was Dave someone, like a techno bod. Can't remember. Sorry, Carl. 0345 6060 973. New York, Robert.
Hi. I just wanted to I need to get something from you, just one thing.
Yes.
Is there a reason I should not use plastic?
It would be almost impossible for you not to use plastic, but just keep in mind that those microplastics, when plastic breaks down, it's in everything now.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the food that we eat. It's in the air that we breathe.
Like corn. And high fructose corn syrup.
Oh, yeah.
Everything is corn in the States here.
Yeah.
Everything that's processed.
Mm-hmm.
But the plastic, if we don't use that, how would we have the modern age?
Well, exactly. Yeah, it's very, very hard. But just keep in mind that if you're eating plastic, it's probably not good for you. If they find plastic particles in your lungs, which they did, they tested a lot of people and they found it in almost every single person, that's probably not good for you either.
I don't think it's the kind of plastic surgery I want on my body.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, the food companies have poisoned the human race. I believe that is absolutely true. I've been saying that for ages. You know what? There was, in this, I don't know what the weather's like in where you are, Robert. A steamy, I bet. It's hot. Yeah, I bet it's really painfully warm. I bet you've got...
Not quite your temperatures.
I bet you've got a lot of...
Hot H-O-T-A-I-R.
Well, we're not undergoing a UKIP takeover just yet.
Not just yet, no.
We do have Donald Trump waiting in the wing.
Yeah,
so.
he's not gone away. He's going to come back.
I'm president. Can you believe it?
Yeah. So best of luck with that.
He's lurking.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it's the people in the you-know-what states, they're going to put him back into power. And if not him, then someone like him. Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, Robert.
Thank you.
Okay, cheers, mate. 0345 6060 973. What was that he just said that I was going to say? I was going to go into something. Was it about plastic? Oh, I hate when that happens. You're about to... It's kind of like getting on a train. You know those old Wild West trains, and they have that sort of platform out the back where you can stand? It's kind of like that. Your thought is going away on a train track, and it's just waving at you as it disappears. There's absolutely no way you're going to catch up with it. It's gone. Oh, well, never mind. It was something about New York and steamy weather, and then I got all tied in a knot trying to find this.
Hot
little bit hot. What did he say at the beginning there? That I was going to talk about something else. Oh, never mind. Gone. Oh, well. Better luck next time. I mean, I could leave in a huff, but I'm not allowed to. Woolwich. Hello, Richard.
Oh, yes. Hello, Richard.
Yes, sir.
Your bulletin said it's hot and humid in London, and it's not.
No, I wouldn't think so.
I'm freezing.
Well, hang on a minute. Let me just check. Checking while you wait. It's 19 degrees in London's fashionable West End, which is not that warm.
I think I'd prefer to be in New York, to be honest.
Well, the thing with New York is, in the summertime, it's steamy, steamy hot, like uncomfortably, clammily hot and close. In the wintertime, I grew up in Edinburgh, and I've never been anywhere as cold as New York in the wintertime.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I was in New York in a 6-foot snowstorm. It's horrible, yeah.
I got off the plane, I had to go straight to... It was a station that I used to work at, and they took us there for the weekend, which is a stupid idea, because you spend the entire time trying to get over the flight that took you there, and then you've got to get on another flight and come all the way back. But I got off the plane, I had taken winter gear that I wore here, I had to go straight to a clothes shop and buy pretty much everything that was on their shelves. The wind, it just goes straight through you. It was painful.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is really cold there. As you say, and very hot in the summers. It's. But that's where we're going, I guess, with this global warming.
Well, that's where we should be. I mean, aren't we on the same latitude as New York, or are we actually higher up? But we benefit from the what do you call it? The ocean thing. Get David Attenborough on the phone. He'll be able to tell us.
Yeah. But, Nick, can I just say very quickly, because I know you come up with this, that the thing I really wanted, my musing today was around why aren't we more angry? Because it just, when, with everything that's going on, and now the final, sort of, for me, the final punch, as it were, is the kick, is these kind of like 180,000, baby boomers, privileged baby boomers are going to elect the next leader. And I'm thinking, you know what, why in this age, when everything is so connected, it seems we're more disconnected? Because the last protest I went on was the poll tax. And that was organised but quite spontaneous in a very weird way. Yeah. It just kind of happened and then it kind of moved on. And I think the Brexit, I was abroad during the Brexit campaigns and I would have gone on those. But if somebody can organise a protest, a national protest, I'll be there. I'll take banners. I'll take everything. I will scream. I would have the inflatable bojo going everywhere. I mean, where is it?
Richard, I think you need to present yourself at the local police station because you are going to jail. That's against the law. You're not allowed to protest against the dear leader. How dare you even think that?
You know what I love about you, though, Nick, is that you allowed me to come on with my point because I was on one of your I was trying to get through to one of your colleagues a week ago or so to try to make the same point, and the producer said it was too controversial. So bless you for allowing me to just make my point.
Right. Well, if only you told me that at the start, then. All right. Thanks a lot, Richard. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC. It's 12:30. The news headlines with Lucinda Horsley.
Leading Britain's conversation. LBC with Nick Abbott.
I really like you. Do you like me?
Nah, not so much. 0345 6060 973. You know, this might be... Is it Derek May? Ken Ishii, maybe. Is it Dave Clark? I can't remember. But I don't think it's Marmee and Schoenberg. Sorry about that, Carl. I apologise.
I am very sorry that I screwed up. Totally I mean, I am so sorry. You just don't know how sorry I am. I'm sorry.
I'm very, very sorry. I'm regretful. I rue it. Or maybe it was food that I was going to talk about. Food. I like food. Yeah, I think that the food companies have been poisoning. That's right. I was going to talk about 1976. 1976. What a superb year for music, eh?
Rock and roll!
And it was a good year for heat. Everybody that was alive at that time, who was old enough to remember, recalls that summer was bloomin' marvellous. And the newspapers have been printing a lot of pictures from 1976. You see people splashing about in the fountains in Trafalgar Square, and apparently they had a big paddling pool up in Marble Arch. And there's pictures of people on the beach and so on and so on. And the thing that struck me immediately had also struck absolutely everybody else that had looked at those pictures, because you looked at the comment section and the Mail Online, which had just put up about 1,000 pictures of people with their kit off in 1976, and the thing that jumped out most clearly was that no one was fat at all. No one had an ounce of fat on them, at whatever age they were. Since then, big change, huge. The food companies are poisoning the human race. Can there be any doubt about that? And they're getting away with it. It's been a piece of cake, literally. And so, don't even consider the possibility that the plastics companies are going to be made to pay, or the oil companies are going to be made to pay, or any of this. I mean, the precedent is set. As long as you're making a boatload of money, you can do anything you want. Let's have Cheltenham. Hello, Sam.
Hi.
Sam.
I just wanted to say, I heard you asking that, has there been a coup? And I think there sort of has been a double coup. In the first bit was the repurposing of the Conservative Party in 2019. And the other bit is the sort of the cultivation of the Brexit state of mind. Now, it's been pointed out that it's as much a state of mind as an event. It hasn't really happened as an event, but it's very much a mentality.
Yeah.
And I really think those two things, of course, work together. One was partly, done to help the other along.
Right.
I think it has been. That coup is, I suppose, a dramatic term, but
well, as far as the Conservative Party is concerned, there appears to be a reverse takeover of the Tories by UKIP. The smaller
that's the 2019 bit.
The smaller organisation has taken over the larger one.
Well, it hasn't. The point about all that, it hasn't. I don't think it's been noticed really that this process. I mean, neither of those things seem to really have registered properly.
No.
And there's one other thing I wanted to say, which is about the vote for the leadership by this tiny caucus of old right-wing people.
Yeah, harumphing old geezers.
There's a word I remember. It's a gerontocracy. It's a rule by the elderly vicious, by proxy. So what we've really got now, this is what is about to happen, is that, which isn't that a strange thing? I mean, I think it's extraordinary. But I just wanted to air my little theory that there has been a bit of a coup. A kind of coup, yeah. So, yes, the answer to your question is yes, there has been a coup.
Not entirely successful as of yet, but they haven't gone away. The movement continues. It may have slowed down a little bit, but the plan remains the same, and we're still going in the same direction. Donald Trump or someone like him...
Has it slowed down?
It had to slow down because Donald Trump got turfed out. That was the only thing that Joe Biden had to do, and he succeeded in that one thing. But Trump hasn't gone away, and neither has Trumpism, and neither have, crucially, the people that pay for it, because that's what this is all about. It's not about Trump, and it's not about Boris Johnson. It's about the people that pay for it.
Well, please tell Neil Oliver that, among others.
Right. Okay.
There's a very strange opinion around.
Yeah. No doubt. Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, Sam. Yeah, and the young people, I don't know. I mean, they got themselves to blame in certain respects because they just refuse to go out and vote. They can't be bothered. Oh, it's like so boring, it's like I'd rather do anything else, They're all the same. These morons, they come out with these pathetic excuses that they can't get out of bed and walk down the road a couple of 100 yards to go and vote once every 5 years. I just don't want to, right? I'll do it later. I'll do it tomorrow. Morons. We're surrounded by morons. And what do you get? Nothing. Generation Z, that is teens to the age of 25. Generation Z, the kids, are driving a £25 billion plunge in spending as households tighten their belts to cope with the biggest shock to incomes on record, as in ever. 9 in 10 Britons plan to cut back on their spending over the next 12 months in response to soaring prices, rising mortgage bills, tax increases, etc. and so on. Of course, younger generations, they haven't got to worry about mortgages. You kids can't afford houses. You're going to be renting forever. The old people have made sure of that. They bought their house when it was £25,000, and now it's £2 million. You think they're going to allow you to build houses near where they are? Of course not. Going to do everything in their power to stop that happening. Younger generations are more likely than the old to cut back on groceries, clothing and going out, with a typical household set to slash £887 from their discretionary spending. 6 in 10 Generation Z consumers, that is under the age of 25, are going to. They plan to reduce spending on food and fashion. 6 in 10, compared to less than 4 in 10 boomers, as in 58 plus, the old geezers. Which means that the thing that's been caused by the old is disproportionately affecting the young. We've taken everything. We leave disaster in our wake, and we'll put you kids in prison if you complain about it. Or if you complain about it loudly enough that we can hear you. That's right out. That's against the law. And the reason why this is happening is because kids can't be bothered to vote. Who voted for the Conservative Party? They were 65 plus. 65 plus. Overwhelming demographic that voted for the Conservative Party, that gave them that stonking majority that allowed them to do anything they wanted, give them 100% of the power. 65 plus. Those under the age of 25, I don't want to vote because, what's the point? Well, that's the point right there. Still, next time I'm sure you'll have another excuse. Absolutely no time at all for people who say they don't vote. John says, Sunak wins first prize for fake laugh of the year competition. Talk about forced. I don't think I've seen him laugh. I've seen him do that smiley face of stunned amazement when somebody has a go at him. He did some press. It was probably the launch of his risible campaign. Rishi! ! He's the least exclamation marky person I can think of. Rishi! ! Anyway, he had this PR launch, and I can't remember who it was. Somebody was having a go at him, some journalist, saying, basically, you're an absolute shower, or words to that effect. And the look of, panicked look in his eyes, but he arranged his face into sort of this open-mouthed smile of amazement that somebody had the temerity to be having a go at him. We'll probably be seeing a lot more of that. OJ text. Now, how many pages of this stuff have I got to go? 15? 15 pages of text and emails?
Oh, no.
Oh. I've got not even that, like 15 minutes of show to go. I am very bad at my job. OJ says, Boris ended as Arnold Schwarzenegger in the Commons and has only been consistent by living up to it in Ukraine. Does that make sense? Hagar says, cheap flights to Ukraine on Imperial Airways flown by Captain Bodger Johnson. Bring your own refreshments.
Booze.
Oh, God, that guy. I've got detailed files. His latest fun day out. I mean, can you believe this bloke? On his latest fun day out, Bodger Johnson hurled a grenade and handled an anti-tank missile launcher during a trip to a British Army base in North Yorkshire. The outgoing Prime Minister, well, we should be so lucky. The outgoing Prime Minister was visiting Ukrainian troops who were being trained by the UK. Yeah, you know what? No, he wasn't. He was having another jolly wheeze at our expense, with the excuse of visiting Ukrainian troops tacked on as a flimsy reason for wasting so much of our money. And besides, think about it. Their country is being bombed flat right now. They've come from Ukraine to this country to be trained to go back there and protect their people. Their people are being massacred. And this clown wants their training to stop so that he can play dress-up and have his picture taken. If he actually cared, he wouldn't be holding up their training. I mean, it's such a security risk that the newspapers that took the photographs had to pixelate the faces of all the troops he surrounded himself with. His jollies are wasting money and wasting people's time. But, you know, at least he's having fun. Yeah, that's right. We'll take it to Peppa Pig Land if you want. In a video shared from his official account, the PM can be seen donning full camouflage gear. We can still see you. Doesn't matter how much of that stuff you put on, we can still see you. Full camouflage gear. They made that by sewing two large camouflage suits together, as that stuff does not come in his size. He wore tactical headphones and tried out an assortment of weapons. And he had such a lovely day out, working hard for his country. His trip came just after another day out, playing at being in the military, when he squeezed himself into a flight suit, and the RAF had to take out most of the instruments from one of their jets so he could cram himself into one. And then he did his Tom Cruise thumbs-up Top Gun impression. And he released the glorious pictures of it all to a grateful public who were just dying to see what jolly japes he gets up to next. I mean, if he really wants to keep up this clown act, maybe he'd like to be fired out of a cannon. Think about it, Bodge. In that video, the actual Prime Minister of this country can be seen taking part in a pretend training exercise for the short of breath. At one point, an animated Johnson removes the pin from a dummy grenade before giving it his best throw. Worst throw ever. He's then seen being shown how to operate an anti-tank missile launcher before being talked through the mechanics of a grenade machine gun. Why? Why did all of those people have to stop their vital training to protect their mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers so the dear leader can play dress up?
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Just curious, that's all. 0345 6060 973. Please, Bodge, you've delighted us enough.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
Come on, we're running late.
0345 6060 973. James emails, Rishi has a smarmy look and Truss speaks like a Dalek.
Affirmative.
God help the UK if either one of them becomes PM. Well, prepare yourself, James. And God is not going to help the UK. God is not going to help the UK because God is too busy organising who's going to win football matches. From the looks to the heavens when anybody scores in a football match, Apparently God is personally on their side and is deciding the outcome of that fixture. Zara emails, what's wrong with Fishy Rish's hands? If he stops waving his hands around frantically, we might actually be able to focus on what comes out of his mouth. Not that it'd make any difference. Well, that is true. Let's have Ealing. Hello, John.
Hello.
John.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Nick. You know, you were talking about not remembering stuff.
No.
I'm suffering from that. No, earlier on, okay. Oh, my God.
No.
I just caught on.
No.
But I've spoken to 3 people this week, and they've all had a form of long COVID, where they kind of are forgetting what the gist of what they were saying is.
Right.
And stuff. And
I see what you mean. Yeah. Me with the food thing. Yeah. Go on.
Yeah. But what I would say is, you know, this thing with Boris Johnson dressing up and doing all of his paraphernalia, all that kind of dressing up boys stuff.
His whole act.
It's costing us a fortune, obviously.
Massive.
But what I don't understand, shouldn't he be under investigation for spending time with Lebedev and seeing them without any aids while he was
I think the Prime Minister has been very clear that he has robustly defended his record in that regard.
Nick, that's another one. I love that, robust.
Yeah.
They come out with these little key words, robust, doubling down, ramping up. For crying out loud, honestly, they treat us like we're. I mean, let's face it. I mean, Boris Johnson
finish that sentence. They treat us like we're
children.
Yes, with very good reason, because that's the way we act. They tell us
it's just we're being held captive, like you said, because nobody votes.
We're being held captive by, at the last count, 46% of the population. Who appear insistent on voting for something that is not in their interests.
I mean, finally, just to go, I won't hold you long because I know you're coming up to the end. But you know these baby boomers. You know, I'm not far off your age, but you know, but the baby boomers now. You know, they're comfortably voting these things in, but they've forgotten very quickly how quick they were all sent to care homes to die. You know, I don't understand how they can trust a government that can just throw away all the sacrifices they made in the Second World War and all of these. They just go, just send them back.
I think that, I mean, just thinking about that, I think that it's like the human condition that we don't think an awful thing will happen to us.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why people smoke. God.
Until it does.
Yeah, exactly. I was in you sound like you're in a very windy place there, John.
Sorry, I'll turn it off. I've got a fan on.
Oh, my goodness.
Do you know what it is? I don't believe that they lied when they said it was going to be a cool day today.
A cool day?
There you go. You know, very cold. I've turned it off now.
Cold? Not cold. You know what? It's going to be 81 tomorrow. Isn't that marvellous?
Well, I mean, at night it's worse. I'm just burning up here. This is hence the fan, which doesn't do anything except just spread hot air around.
Hot, diseased air all over.
Disease there. Now, what were you saying just now?
I went into a shop the other day, and you know they have the cigarettes behind the door. You can't see the cigarettes anymore.
I know, that's hard.
And somebody in front of me asked for a packet of something or other, and they opened the door, and those packets with the photographs on the front. I haven't seen that in a really long time. I mean, I haven't seen a packet of cigarettes in a really long time. But to have that entire wall of hideous medical nightmare pictures, why would anybody smoke? That's insane.
Honestly, Nick, I used to work as a designer in a firm that actually had Philip Morris they owned most of the company. And honestly, you know, it was just like wall to wall eyeballs or, you know, cancer on the packets.
Yeah.
And if you're like me and you remember things like Players and Capstan, Gulwar and Lucky Strike that was designed by Lowry, you kind of
Lowry?
these iconic. You know,
Lowry
did this.
Not Lucky Strike. Lowry? What? Matchstick Men and Matchstick Cats and Dogs?
No, not him. It's a different Lowry.
Wasn't
Raymond Lowy.
Lowy, not Lowry.
Yeah, that's it.
Wasn't it Lowy?
Well,
the guy that did the... he did all that...
bridges and cars and stuff like that.
All that sort of...
You know
that that 1950s fast, streamlined stuff. The streamlined. That's the word I'm looking for. Streamlined.
Nick, potato. I did tell you I'm suffering from COVID brain fog.
Oh, right.
So I'm trying my best to communicate.
Right.
But as you say, I don't understand. They'll vote for something that they know is going to hurt their grandchildren. They know, and they think they're going to live forever. But they haven't learned anything by the way they were treated just now. The government couldn't give a tinker's cuss about them when they were going into care homes and dying. I mean, as Boris said, let the bodies pile high.
Yeah, but like I said, nobody thinks that it's going to happen to them until it does. And that's why I went on about the cigarettes. Nobody thinks that it's going to happen to them. You can see on the packet in front of you that this causes a growth in your mouth that's the size of an average pet. And they still open it up and spark up a ciggy because they think, oh, well, that's not going to happen to me. It's the human condition. It's a refusal to accept reality. Because, I don't know, you just think you're immune to everything up to and including death. We're all on a conveyor belt and we're all going to fall off the end at some point. Except for you-know-who.
I don't know anything.
Who is, I think he's had all of his organs removed. And replaced with bile. He's a giant toothpaste tube of bile in a double-breasted suit. Ain't that right, Smug?
I don't know anything.
Still doesn't know anything. All right, thanks a lot, John. Devlin tweets, been at work all day. Have the bloomin' French fixed Brexit for us yet? Excellent question. Have the French fixed Brexit for us yet?
No.
Oh, thanks a lot, French people. See what you've done? Mike says, has Michael Fabricant's hair been released back to its nature reserve? Not yet. It's still suffering. Archie text, can you play The Clash, Straight to Hell? Just about sums it up. Yeah, certainly. We'll get that on for you right now. David text, 46% of the population vote in Bojoke as PM and 3% of the population vote in the next PM. It's not 3%, it's 0.3%. Meanwhile, he says, the Brexitists complain the people that voted Remain are undemonstrative for pointing out the crisis at Dover is due to exiting a geo-local trade agreement. It's unreal. Well, it's kind of hard to understand what you mean, but I kind of get it. Howard texts, monkeypox may be a concern in the UK at the moment, but there is more pressing urgency to deal with a more deadly disease. : by which I mean 2 dots, one above the other. And then he doesn't write anything else. Well, what more deadly disease? Inquiring minds are keen to find out, Howard. You know about a more deadly disease that we're not aware of? It's a little lacking on the information front there, Howard. Mike texts, have you started watching Stranger Things yet? I'm still considering it. Maybe some good escapism, perhaps. No, I have not. I've thought about it, but I don't know. It's too nice out. I don't want to sit indoors and watch TV. I don't want to be outside. I want to be outside not watching TV. Caven texts, in Terminator, Arnold is a bad guy. He comes back in Terminator 2 as a good guy. Silver lining?
Affirmative.
Doesn't he come back as another model of Terminator? It's not the same one, is it? It's another one. Because, spoiler alert...
Warning!
He gets crushed in the first one. So it ain't the same one. They're just stamping them out. There are many versions. Every single one of them played by the same bloke.
Correct.
So is that going to be the last one? Yeah, all right. That's the last one. Sorry about the 20 pages odd of texts and emails that I didn't get around to. But as I mentioned before, I am very bad at my job. I will return with my abnormal normal show this evening at 10 o'clock. Richard Spur will delight you at 4 o'clock. But first, it's Clyde Ball.
Nick, thank you. Coming up, as Truss and Sunak Truss and Sunak, 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 Truss and Sunak.